If you're an introvert with a high level of social awareness, you probably find yourself in a lot of uncomfortable social situations that are difficult to exit. I can tell you why this is happening, and I can also tell you how to get out of them. As an introvert, you probably prefer to be left alone the majority of the time because socializing is very taxing on your energy. Other introverts are typically going to respect your preference because they share it, and they are unlikely to initiate an interaction with you in social settings. An extrovert with a high level of social awareness may engage with you, but they're pretty quickly going to realize you're not really enjoying that interaction as much as they are, and they will probably end the interaction fairly quickly because they're able to be in tune with you and identify that you're not really up for it right now. And your own people, other introverts with a high level of social awareness, those are the people you're going to run up on the least because they have a combination of both of the factors that prevent low social awareness introverts and high social awareness extroverts from engaging with you. They'd also prefer not to engage, and they would quickly realize if you were uncomfortable with an interaction. So you will encounter the fewest amount of your own kind. That leaves us with low social awareness extroverts, people who really like to talk, but don't necessarily realize if the other person is enjoying the interaction as much as they are. And the interactions you have with them are probably going to go on for a painfully long period of time because your high level of social awareness tricks them into thinking that you're actually really into the conversation because you're such a good listener. You're nodding, you're smiling, you have appropriate nonverbals, you are showing interest even if you do not actually have interest. And because they have a lower level of social awareness, they are misinterpreting all of these signs as being evidence that you are really into what they're saying and you just cannot wait to hear more. And they are also misinterpreting your relative lack of participation in the conversation as a desire to hear them continue to talk. In other words, you're a good listener and they're a good talker, and that results in a prolonged interaction that is draining your social battery, like you have brightness on max, 2,000 windows open, and are connected to 9 devices on Bluetooth at the same time. Is a way to quickly and skillfully get out of these interactions, but it is probably going to require you to step outside of your comfort zone a little bit. Most introverts with a high level of social awareness are what we call passive communicators. A passive communicator is someone whose general tendency in social interactions is to prioritize the needs, wants, and feelings of the other person or people in the interactions over their own need, wants, and feelings. A lower social awareness extrovert is more likely to be what we call an aggressive communicator. That doesn't actually mean that they're yelling or swearing at you or anything like that. It just means that they are more in tune with their own needs than they are with the needs of other people. So you are trying to be nice and trying to be polite and recognizing that they're really enjoying this conversation, even though you kind of want to peel your own skin off. And they have absolutely no recognition that that is happening. And they're just continuing on as though nothing is wrong. The best way to break out of this pattern of getting imprisoned by conversations is to work on moving towards an assertive communication style. And an assertive communication style is characterized by treating the wants, needs, and feelings of all of the participants in the conversation as being relatively equal. If you're able to do that, you're more likely to be able to say or do something to help you exit this conversation sooner because you aren't treating the other person's social desires as if they somehow override your own. You might begin an assertive exit from a conversation by saying something along the lines of, "It was nice meeting you, but I have to go now." Sometimes that will get the job done, and sometimes it will not. If this is unsuccessful in ending the conversation, what I would do next is repeat the general sentiment, but increase the intensity of your statement by about 20%. And maybe that sounds a little bit something like this. I really have to go now. We're raising the intensity and we're being just a little bit less understanding and just a little bit less polite. The fact that they are trying to prevent us from meeting our own social needs. If this doesn't work, we raise the intensity one more level. You may have skipped a couple steps here, but sometimes you do have to be really blunt and straightforward with people who are just not picking up on the cues that you are dropping. And if this is unsuccessful, there's always one more backup plan you can follow. If Talkie Talkerton is still going at this point, you can simply physically exit the space by mobilizing your body to a different region. And that might seem rude, But sometimes that's what you have to do to preserve what little social battery you have remaining at the end of one of these interactions.